get the last session started. First, I'd like to introduce Chelsea Feldman from Microsoft, who's going to explain how we're going to rate this last session. Hopefully, it won't be the same disaster we had last year, but yay.
Well, I really hope there's no disaster this year. So at Microsoft, we are trying to make this a unique session, and we're inviting all of you to join the Barracudas panel today through our Bing Pulse audience response technology. So what you'll do is you'll get out your smartphone, your tablet, PC, whatever device you have, open up your browser, and you'll go to pulse.bing.com/FT. The URL's up there, and you can vote on if you would use the app that's being presented, if you like it, if you dislike it, as often as every 5 seconds all throughout the event. It works best when everybody's excited and voting constantly. We'll also push a couple of poll questions to get your input on various things throughout the session. So again, it's pulse.bing.com/FT for you to participate, and we hope you all enjoy joining the Barracudas panel.
All right, I'm going to introduce our Barracudas now. You've met most of them throughout the day, and they're going to come back up. First, we have Ted Vickey from Canyon Ranch. Ted is a senior advisor for disruptive health technologies at the Canyon Ranch Institute and is completing his PhD in fitness technology from the National University of Ireland at Galway. Thank you for joining us, Ted. That's a long trip. He was the executive director of the White House Athletic Center for 11 years under the Bush and Clinton administrations and has been called the most connected man in fitness. I'd like to welcome back up Denise and Yohn. Denise is the author of What Great Brands Do. Keoni, Hudoba. I actually took Keoni's class a couple of days ago on Radio's Fit. It was fun. Kicked my little butt. And finally, I'd like to invite back up Michael Yang, Managing Director of Comcast Ventures. These, ladies and gentlemen, are our Barracudas, and they're going to rate our next mobile apps.
About their songs. Bob Summers, come on up here, Bob. Let's give him a round of applause for Bob. Come on, thank you, Bob. Fitnet.
Great, how are you? Good, good. Do you have a mic?
Yeah, let's take this.
Another mic. Oh, thank you very much. Hi, Barracudas. I'm Bob Summers. I'm Chief Geek and founder of Fitnet. In exchange for your contacts and your knowledge, I'll give you a Fitnet headband. All right.
That's pretty stylish.
At Fitnet, we believe that everyone has a unique fitness journey ahead of them, and it's technology's role to unlock that journey. About 5 years ago, I was super out of shape, overweight. I had tried diets, I tried exercise. I just hadn't found my journey, but something clicked. Something finally clicked for me. And what it was is I had a workout buddy, I had a trainer, and I had data to track. So after a year of getting in shape, I was running half marathons, I'd lost 30 pounds, and then I started traveling. I was working at a startup and traveling a lot, and I started to slip. I was like, what happened? Well, I was disconnected from my workout buddy and my trainer. So I looked to find if there was any technology that could solve this, and there wasn't. Trainers were using YouTube, essentially, as a platform. So thus was born Fitnet. So Fitnet is a mobile application. It's free to download. It delivers 5-minute personal workouts to clients. You can use the app to mix and match between cardio, strength, and mind-body exercises, between light, heavy, and moderate exercises. So there's the clicker. Here we go. Gotcha. All right. So effectively, we're connecting trainers to clients. And at CES, we've opened up the platform to allow any trainer to produce this content. We've built an app that actually teleprompts the trainer on what to say, when to say it, and automatically upload that content into our system. So we launched the application a year ago, and in 2014, we delivered 1 million minutes of fitness, burning over 5 million calories. Now, in session, there was a word in the last panel, in session, we use a camera. We use the camera in your mobile device to track your motion and compare it to the trainer and give you a real-time score. That's the first sensor we've integrated. Now we're doing heart rate and other kinds of data. That data is shared with your trainer. This application here on the right hand is the app itself, Fitnet for iPad, and on the left is our script app for trainers. So it's really easy to use, and get it in the Google Play Store and the iOS Store. So what's really amazing, you might imagine, is that trainers are the key to our solution. Lori Maddox, who's behind me now, this past year reached 25,000 people in over 200 countries. Not possible without this kind of technology. And there are over 250,000 certified trainers in the United States who on average work 18 hours a week delivering in-person training. So there's a huge opportunity for them to supplement their business, and Fitnet can help them with that. So finally is the big surprise in so the business model, by the way, is that clients use the app, they can try a trainer, they can try it for free, self-help. If they need a little extra help, they connect with the trainer in the application. They get a 14-day trial, and then it turns to a monthly subscription, which we allow the trainer to decide between $19 and $49. We then split that 70-30, 70% to the trainer. So trainers incentivized to deliver a fantastic service to their local clients or a global audience. It's really up to them. So the big surprise in our business has been healthcare. In the last year, we've been approached by over 28 organizations representing 78 million members that are interested in how Fitnet can be applied into healthcare. This is healthcare systems, health insurance, essentially looking at how can we have a prescription, an assessment, and a tracking model built into the mechanics of Fitnet. How can that be used in healthcare? So it's really exciting to see that. So we know that health and getting fit and staying fit is hard. With Fitnet, your trainer and your buddies are by your side. So Barracudas, which of you want to come and get fit and stay fit with Fitnet?
I was just going to say, you get extra points for the very cool socks. I really like those a lot. Tell me how personal trainers find out about this, and how do they get plugged into your network, and then what is the qualification for them to actually post content? Yeah, so you can go to our website, fit.net, and there's a Become a Trainer link. They click that, and we ask them to self-certify that they have some form of certification. We haven't gone that extra step yet to have them mail that in, but so far we vet them through a process, and they have to go through about a 1-hour onboarding process. We tend to talk to them on the phone. It's a very high touch at the moment as we work out some of the kinks in the technology. But people find us. We've been featured in the App Store now 12 weeks in a row as a top app for health, and by Google. So in the Google Chromecast store, you can use Fitnet. You can easily just tap the Chromecast button on either iOS or Google, and it goes to the big screen. But that exposure from those brands has helped us grow.
How many trainers do you have on the actual site now?
Yes, we have over 200 profiles that have been created, and we've onboarded about a dozen.
And you said moving forward that you're going to start to incorporate heart rate monitor and all that stuff. How are you actually going to be physically doing that? Is it a device that you have to purchase? Is there a membership that you have to purchase?
Yeah, so our first integration was with HealthKit. So we integrated very early on with HealthKit, which allows us to talk to any device that goes through that API. And, but we're looking at other deep integrations that might require, like for example, the Valence cell technology might come through a different type of API. We're just early days of understanding, what can we do with that data? How can the trainer, we have to train the trainers on what to do with that information to create the new outcomes.
I've got some good news for you. I would have used this at the White House, but I have a concern. And that is one of the things that Denise talked about, and that is you're talking about going into healthcare, but you haven't figured out a way to show that these people are certified. So there's a big disconnect there. Can you talk a little bit more about how you're going to address that?
Yeah, of course. So one is we've completed one clinical pilot already this last year with childhood obesity, where we improved the amount of exercise and reduced the amount of consumption of sweets. We have 5 pilots in the works for this year. The people who are delivering this service, in the case of healthcare, can be designated by the health organization. So let's say you're a healthcare plan, you can designate, these are the trainers that will train my population. So for example, there's a wellness center near us that is using their trainers, that they know exactly who they are to produce the content, and we tie their email address account on the back end so that they only see the trainers that they have certified. So it's an open platform. We almost think there's like a YouTube for fitness, but with some specificity there. They, of course, want to know that the data is verifiable and that the people that are doing the training are qualified and that the end result is what they anticipate. Like they want lower weight, less visits to the hospital, higher efficiencies in employee, those kinds of things.
My question's around user acquisition or consumer acquisition. Is this more about you bringing consumers to trainers, or is it about trainers marketing to users and them coming onto the system? Yeah, so in our first phase, there's a chicken and egg, right? We have essentially 2 populations of people. Our first phase was consumer acquisition. So we hired a group of trainers like Lori and Jennifer behind me to produce. This past year was about just getting our initial consumer bump. And we've done that, and now we've opened it up to onboard the trainers. So our focus in the next year is individual trainers. So these are very entrepreneurial individuals, as well as the health systems that bring in groups, and they will bring the customers to the platform. While we still maintain the direct-to-consumer, but the long-term play for us is the service provider. Because we think that in terms of long-term sustainability, that's the person that needs to be in the equation. The trainer is the critical piece. Like scaling the trainer. So for example, Lori Maddox has 250 clients that she manages, and she could do more. She hasn't said uncle just yet, right? She hasn't said uncle yet. So we don't know what the upper bounds are, but technology should scale an individual. What if one trainer could serve 1,000 people in a personal way? We think that data will surface that information, that they can look at a dashboard and see who's in danger, who's performing well, who's exceeding, and that will help them see kind of underneath, right? And then algorithms help sort the individuals. That's the kind of technology we're building.
Are you giving the actual clients goals? Let's just give it up to the background athletes in the background.
Yeah.
Let's give them a round of applause. That is tough to do. And congratulations on your 30-pound loss. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Shiny hot pants.
I mean, shiny hot pants, the trainers, they're giving it up. They're balancing better than I could do.
Yeah, and
but
you can see them on the hour at our booth in Sands.
I love it.
Okay, so come on
Fitnet.
by and see them on the hour.
So are you giving these athletes that are coming to you guys a goal? Is there an attainable goal, or how are you monitoring? Like you're speaking of the devices and having a camera and stuff like that, but is there a goal? Like, oh, I have a wedding coming up. In 30 days, I want to lose 20 pounds. How can I reach from point A to point B? Like, how are you monitoring that with the trainers that you have? Hello?
It was the White House calling.
It's the White House. He's on the phone with the White House.
Yeah, so each trainer is up to them to make the assessment with the client. The first step is what are your goals, and then how do I map the plan onto that goal? For us with the trainers, we're still trying to learn, well, what is the efficiency of a trainer? How do we gauge the quality of a trainer? Those kinds of things we still have to work out.
I think the biggest thing for what personality is huge. I think certifications are huge, but I also think that what you need, as in, I noticed in your slideshow that there was ab balls in the background, bands. So is this an investment that these clients are going to have to purchase through you or through a third source, that they're going to have to purchase ab balls, kettlebells, jump ropes, weights? Is this something they can do in their home, or is this something that they do at a gym, or?
Yeah, so we've started with only bodyweight exercises. So 90% of our content at the moment is just you. We started adding kettlebells and BOSU balls at the request of clients. So we're constantly listening and producing new stuff. It takes an hour to produce a half hour of exercise with Fitnet. That's an incredible efficiency, right? And so it costs like $10 for a new set of modules.
And how many trainers are actually on the video?
Yes, there's one trainer in each video.
And are they
So it's
showing different
self-produced.
modifications? Like, are they knowing that their client has a ACL tear or they have a lower back issue, so during this burpee you're not, et cetera? Lori?
Yeah, Lori can talk to that. I mean, they will typically say, hey, if you're having trouble here, use this type of modification. If you're advanced, then do it this particular way. So it's possible.
Okay, so I'm looking at this from a brand and marketing perspective, and I want to understand, differentiation and competitive advantage obviously is key to establishing a strong brand. What is to stop someone else from doing exactly what you're doing? Do you have a secret sauce, and if so, what is it?
Yeah, the secret sauce we're developing is that feedback loop between the data of in session. So one, the sessions are created by an individual. So the fitness trainer. Each trainer has their own style, their own flair, their own personality. That comes through the video, and then we combine that with data capture. And that comes in the back end as analyzed. We have a back end that's captured over 200,000 sessions of fitness, of cardio, of yoga, of people doing these. And that is then fed back to the trainer for a positive feedback loop. So our data on the back end, our algorithms are very proprietary and drive this thing forward. So in the long run, the more trainers we get too, it becomes a very difficult thing to, competitive advantage. Once a trainer's locked in, they're going to be locked in.
So just following up on that, who do you view as your competition?
I think Radius is our newest competition in the marketplace, for sure. I think that
It's a great program.
Yeah, there's something that we have struggled with. I mean, do we go for high-end personalities, or are we really about the everyday trainer? And we've decided from the very beginning to go with the everyday trainer. We want 100,000 trainers on Fitnet, each serving 10 to 20 people. That's our path.
I think the biggest thing with Radius is that we are the everyday trainer. I think there's a huge relatability component that each of us have. All 5 trainers that are on Radius all have a different background, different story. Pro soccer player, I used to be 327 pounds. We all have a different thing. So I think that's why I commend you in your transformation. But I think the biggest thing is, what tools do you need? One, what do you need at home to actually do this workout? What is the accountability that you're going to give me as a client of yours? What's the accountability? So I know that this is how am I going to monitor that this is working for me?
Yeah, and I think that the data will answer that, right? So, I mean, in the last panel when they were talking about, hey, how do we know that my respiration rate, how does that affect my cardiovascular efficiency? As these new devices come online, the Fitnet system is ready to be data connected.
So are you waiting for a device then, or are you going to launch Fitnet without the device? Because you said that there was a camera now that's monitoring you. So are you waiting or are you shopping for a different device that's actually going to measure your heart rate, measure your willpower?
Our goal is to be in an ecosystem that's growing and booming, which is this health and fitness with the data component, and to be the glue between the person and the service delivery. And so that's really unique, I think. So it's not just a one-way channel. It's the feedback loop that will ultimately make it successful. That, in the end, scales personal fitness, right? Because if we could all afford a $100 an hour trainer for an hour every day, we would all be incredibly fit. Believe me, it would be amazing. If we could all participate in The Biggest Loser, it would be incredible, right? So how can we think about technology producing that outcome? That's the core and the value of Fitnet, where we're headed, and the technology's not there yet. To answer your question more pointedly,
I think the biggest thing is about sustainability. If these trainers are making one-on-one workouts for each person, how many trainers are you going to have, and what is your cap out of clientele?
Yeah, I think that there's less of a one-on-one. So when there is a one-on-one interaction, I think the price goes up. But we found is that people fit into buckets. So when we work with 250 clients, half of those are in the same scenario. They have a 10-pound weight goal. The other 10, maybe they're just trying to move, and then another 10% they're trying to do a 5K race. So they fit in, and our back-end system actually accounts for that. So we have plans that they can create and assign to the individuals. So Fitnet,
you're not personalized towards Nancy in Colorado.
Well, Nancy believes that it is personalized for Nancy because she talked to a trainer. The trainer made the decision that it's plan A, not plan B or C, and then followed up on the progress of plan A.
And is each trainer actually having that one-on-one interaction with the clients, or is there a computer that's doing the interaction with the client?
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
she's got a lot of questions.
Yeah,
Lot-
it's good. I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
see
Lot of
that.
questions.
Wow,
I am-
this is
You guys are
like
doing
the
great.
Bob and Keoni show. Hey, why don't we have Michael? You can ask one more question, Denise and Ted, and then let's wrap this up, guys.
Do you think that this would ever replace an actual personal trainer?
I think it's possible. I think that as we're actually looking at the algorithms. So we're actually building a system now where a live human would watch the computer grade it and then correct it to provide that input. So we want to learn from the humans and as much as possible allow the computer to aid the human. As the sensor technology, as image capture, so video cameras go up and the resolution of the data goes up, I think it's very, very possible.
Great. Denise?
I don't have a question so much as a comment, just to say that I think that knowing your competition is really important, and I think the brand personality around Fitnet needs to be very distinct from Radius. And if it is this kind of everyman, mainstream, kind of Weight Watchers kind of program, that's really the area that you need to lean into and make sure that it is very kind of low-key, easy access, as opposed to something that may be more aspirational.
Okay.
Great. Michael?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask a question. I'll make a comment as well. You and I have chatted in the past, so congrats on all the progress that you've made over this time. What I would say is, a platform for trainers to kind of get into the video business, so to speak, or the digital business of engaging with clients is interesting. That playing field is wide open right now. Leveraging technologies, needs to kind of come more into the fore of what you're about, and I look forward to kind of hearing what you're up to. But I agree. I think you got to figure out what game you want to compete in and what game you don't want to compete in, because there's a lot of big players out there in certain markets.
Well,
Excellent.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to make the deal. This is a Shark Tank thing, right? So if you'd like to collect your prize of a headband, we're in the sands, 74734. We'd love to see you there. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. So as you guys saw over here, as you were voting on your website, we have the data, and we'll release it at the end of the session. So keep poking at that little big pulse questions, and you can watch it go up and down the needle, whatever it's doing. All right, I'd like to bring Mr. Marty Matak from VERT to beat the Barracudas.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone here, for being in the last session as well. I'm Martin Matak. I'm with VERT. We're actually out of South Florida. I think every company starts with a great story, and I think I have a great one to tell. So for me, it started 20 years ago when I was in coaching Little League basketball, and all the kids cared about is how high they can jump. Okay, and of course, the brand new pair of shoes that someone just paid $150 for. And that's when I had my first aha moment. Being able to tell how high someone can jump. So that was 20 years ago, but the technology really wasn't there. And so, and by the way, if you want to follow us at VERT, pretty hard to remember. But our company is about the experience. I've always thought that way. I majored in advertising, but I minored in astrophysics. So every time I look at something, I look at the experience from a user. I spent my last 17 years in the advertising world, but I have a really nerdy side to me, so I'm always tinkering around. And when we received our IP a couple years back, that's when I took the big leap of faith. And it was easy to raise capital and build out the product of what I really wanted to. So when I look at things, I look at the experience, but I look at it from the user to the actual viewer, and I think it all makes sense when I explain it. So we have this little VERT jump rate monitor. So this is the device. And I wish I had someone to jump here. Do you guys want to jump? No, I'm just joking. No, you do not want me to crash the stadium.
Lori wanted to.
Because this is like Kung Fu Panda jumping over here. And I'll probably be able to grab a cookie up there. But this is the little device. So you wear it around your waist, like a heart strap monitor. And when you jump, it tells you in real time how high you're jumping. But there's a lot more applications to it as well. So we're in this really unique space because it also leads to VERTcast. And that's our broadcast version of the VERT device, as well as props. And that's our social side to it. So let me explain that to you. I love technology companies, and I've always loved Apple, and I think that when they come out with their wearable watch, I think it's going to transform wearables, period. I think it's going to make it mainstream, bottom line. And just like they did with any other product, whether it's iTunes or iPad or iPhone. You know, I'm one of those guys that has to tell 50 other people, you got to try this thing, right? And so I just had a Pebble watch at another conference a couple weeks ago, and I was so into using it that I really understand that this watch and all the other Samsung watches and LGs and all the other beautiful devices out there, it's going to transform, but it's going to make it mainstream where people get to really talk about it. And I think it's going to give wearables the credibility that it's so desired for right now, right? We're in a unique space. I'm not going to sit here and tell you about all the other activity monitors and pedometers and things like that. We're the first jump rate monitor. So just like I think Polar announced it 40 years ago, here's a heart rate monitor, we're the first jump rate monitor. So we're in this unique position. And what's happened with us is immediately people looked at us for injury prevention. And I didn't realize that when we first did it. I thought it was how high, which was really cool. But as volleyball found out about it, they said, you guys do jump count? And I'm like, yeah, we do jump count. And so they immediately taught me, this is just like pitch count in baseball. And to prevent injuries, we started working with the University of Florida a couple years ago. When they found out about it, they freaked out because some of their star players came off injury and they needed to make sure, you know, there was like torn ACLs and they wanted to be able to manage their jump load, and they were doing it with a pad and paper. And so I thought that was, well, they thought that was amazing. They could actually put a device on someone and manage it during practice. So we started working them quickly, and this is a quick snapshot of what our VERT coach app looks like. And so you can see all the players at the same time. This is an actual game here in California, USC versus UF. And the red dots right there is actual jump data, over 100 in a game. They never would have known that information in the game. The fatigue, and you can also do real-time adjustments as players are playing. We're really excited with our new relationship with USA Volleyball because they really want to manage their player load. In the States, it's not a professional sport, but overseas, it's just as big as basketball or football is over here. And they're going to start using our technology, and they just won the World Championship. So going into the Olympics next year, we get to work with this high level with this whole new side of jump rate that's exciting for us. And if you want to see them, they'll be at our booth tomorrow at 3:30. The head coach, Karch Krai, is a three-time world champion or a gold medalist, and part of the team will be there as well. Okay, that was my little booth pitch right there for everyone. Okay, we're in over 110 colleges, so we've only been selling our product for a year, okay? And the word has spread. We haven't advertised at all. It's just been word of mouth because I think when people become passionate about a market that is in need, the word spreads really quickly. And so for us, it's been this insane ride with that. At the same time, clicker. Good timing with that noise. All right. We became the official wearable technology of AAU, the Amateur Athletic Union. They're the largest youth organization in the world. They have a strategic partnership with Disney, so we're going after that market of youth that we think is so important because they all want to know how high they can jump, okay? But what they don't know is the injury prevention side, that sometimes jumping too much, they're overdoing it. USA Volleyball, as I mentioned, and then we've been very, very fortunate that a lot of sports science institutes have found out about our technology, and they're doing major studies this year to find out about more information at the beginning side of this thing. Faster? Okay. So, cut? No, there's so much more. I'm going to quickly through it. All right. So we have jump rate that we just came out with. We have VERTcast, which are a broadcast piece. This is what the Under Armour All-American game looked like on a real Jumbotron. We were the first wearable technology in NCAA history to be broadcast on that. We were the first to be on TV with ESPN the other month. And on the prop side, we have the app that I just showed you with combines, individual use. I think it's all about the parents, as helicopter parents want to see their data. We're bridging the gap just like Snapchat is with Facebook. The Junior National Championships, we created the VERT Club, the 25-inch club, the 30-inch club. We're creating a whole new standard. That's what it's like with team efforts. And there's also a 40-inch club, of course. These are social badges that we announced within our Props app to create that engagement. And that's the Props app within our VERT app to be able to see that. So we think we're a little bit of Snapchat, a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Twitter, a little bit of YouTube, a little bit of ESPN, and I had to put in Comcast there for you. So there we go. Did I speed it up quickly for you?
That was great.
Okay,
that was great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
I think this is quite interesting, and from a college perspective, I can see it. My question is, are you going after the pro market? Because I would see, and I had a conversation with an NFL player about concussions. He told me that he doesn't want his coach, he doesn't want the players unit, he doesn't want the team to know that he's going to have an injury.
Yeah, I think it's just the opposite with jumping. These players that are in jump sports, let's take basketball for example, ACL injuries, shin splints, all that type of stuff is the biggest injuries after concussions. So in that case, they're getting paid. Their agents want to make sure that their players are getting monitored because they don't want those contracts to go away, and I think it works better for the player.
Give us some more specs on the device.
Yep.
How long does it last on a charge?
Yep.
And then how exactly are you supposed to wear it? You mentioned it's around the waist.
Yes. So everything is you wear it just like a heart strap monitor, but you wear it around your waist. So if you want real accuracy in vertical jump data, it's center of body mass. And so it's the same for me or you. It doesn't matter. We can clip it on or strap it on. In a game or a practice, you actually wear it around like a heart strap monitor.
So give me the numbers, your business model. You're selling into a team, and they're buying multiple products. Explain that.
Yeah, so strategically we went after the volleyball market because we knew there was such a high density of jumps, right? And we went after high schools and colleges. The colleges went nutso over it. But what's really happened with, as we start exposing ourselves to the parents out there with their kids and all the clubs that are out there and the millions of dollars that are being spent in clubs, is the parents are actually buying it for their kids because they want to protect their kids. So there's this whole injury prevention side of things. But the kids want it because they want to know the novelty of how high. We had a kid at the booth just now. She was only like 10 years old, and she's sitting there looking at our big VERT tower, jumping to see how high she can jump. So it kind of starts on both sides.
And so how much does it cost, and where are you selling it?
Okay, so it's $125. You download the app for free. It comes with everything, the strap, the clip, as well as the charger. We're selling everything online. The reason why we're actually here at CES is to find the right partners. To me, it's all about that, like I said, with the right story. So we're really picky about who we do stuff with. That's why it was strategic, AAU, USA Volleyball. Now we're going into basketball. AAU is going to flip us into basketball, which is their biggest sport anyhow. And then it's a matter of which are the right retailers, which are the right distributors, if we choose to go down some of those avenues as well.
I'm curious about wearability back to a strap. What about embedding this into apparel?
Yeah.
And then what is the sensor? Is this just an accelerometer?
Yeah, so it's an accelerometer and a gyroscope, and then our jump algorithm, which took years to develop, it's like 53 calculations simultaneously that does a human jump, okay? If that answers your question.
And it's only been a year, correct? So what is the lifespan you believe at this moment of the actual device, the actual strap? Are the straps sold separately if the strap is...
That's a great question. So we've had betas for the last 2 years. So we've actually still have people that originally got the betas like the University of Florida. So a lot of these colleges like Penn State, Stanford, they have all of our technology. They've been using it. And the battery life, I never answer your question on that, is about 4 to 6 hours. So it's long enough for a practice. And it's Bluetooth 4.0. So that's why we were able to do it in broadcasts and stadiums as well.
Great. You have one more question, Michael?
I do.
Okay.
What else is on the roadmap beyond measuring count and height? What else can you measure with this over time?
Yeah, so you could basically do a lot of the things that the other wearable tech companies are doing. We've had this niche because we want to be in this niche market because we know we can do all the other things. The thing that we announced the other night on Unveiled was we know the smartwatch category, as I talked before, is going to blow up. So we created an app that's a jump rate and a jump count app. So think about heart rate when it first came out. No one really understood it. Okay, so heart's beating. What does that mean? 40 years ago, right? Now we know what it means. We think it's going to be the same thing with jump rate. So you can actually imagine the sports, fitness, actual watches, and people are doing jump rope or CrossFit or just warming up before a game. They could see their jump rate, and we're pioneering that.
Excellent. Thank you, Marty.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, if my heart's beating, I know that I'm Excellent. So the next person up for the Barracudas is Michael Vento from MyFuelUp. Thank you, Michael.
Testing. You guys hear me all right? Okay.
Yeah.
How you doing, Barracudas? So I got a little presentation, so I'm glad the screen is right in front of you because a lot of stuff to show you, but very happy to be here. So let's get started. Go back a little bit. So there's a big problem today. Okay, we got a lot of reactionary data going around, okay, and it's in two forms. The first form is nutrition tracking. MyFitnessPal, Lose It. All these apps that are out there, and what are they giving people? They're giving people the ability to log what they ate after they ate it. Okay, they're not teaching anybody anything. They're not teaching them how to live a healthier lifestyle, certainly. They're just giving the ability to log their big burger or their glass of wine or what have you. There's also a bunch of wearable devices that track everything from the temperature of your calves to the temperature of your butt cheek. You can measure how many eyelashes or how many times you blinked your eyelashes in the last minute. Lots of cool stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, it's really cool technology, but it's all reactionary. It's after you did it, and it's not even actionable in the absence of a plan. And a plan is something my mom always used to say to me. She said, if you don't have a plan, you can plan to fail. So I said, why isn't there an app that gives you a plan? So that was why I made MyFuelUp. Now let me tell you a little bit about it. So first thing is, this quote resonates to what I just said. Thousands of steps taken, dozens of stairs climbed, hundreds of calories consumed, then burned, zero idea what to do with the data. So that resonates to what I was just talking about. So what is MyFuelUp? Well, MyFuelUp is a free web and mobile application. Doesn't cost a cent for the basic stuff. And it provides nutrient-timed, flexible meal planning in support of your body, your lifestyle, and your health and fitness goal. And our mission is to empower people to make the most effective and efficient daily nutritional decisions wherever they go with the technology that's in their pocket, the smartphone. That's all they need. And they download our app. Now, the way we do it, so we got a couple inputs. You download our app. We're going to ask you a couple questions about yourself because we really want to get to know you. We want to know basic information, gender, age, body statistics, but we also want to know what type of workouts are you doing, what time of day are you doing, because that allows you to nutrient time when you're having your carbohydrates to fuel those workouts. What is your fitness goal? Put you in a caloric range to be successful. How many meals per day do you like to eat? And then we get into the food too. We want to know any allergies you have or insensitivities to food, any lifestyle, you're vegan, vegetarian, Paleolithic. We ask this as well. And finally, grocery shopping habits. Are you a person that wants to be the organic shopper at Whole Foods all the time? Are you more cost conscious, or are you somewhere in between? Give us that information. What we do then, the gears turn, and the output we give you is this customized meal plan. Okay, again, it's nutrient timed. You can edit the meals. You can edit individual items on the plan. And once you're happy with it, you save it. Now we're going to give you a grocery list. You go to the grocery store on the weekend. You pull out your app. Here's everything I need to be successful, to hit my goal, my fitness goal. And this is what I need to buy. You go buy it. Okay? We also give you access to our website to make a supplement schedule. It integrates directly with that plan. And you can even add recipes from real chefs, which we're starting to accumulate now. And believe it or not, I could go on Instagram and recruit chefs because there are people putting pictures of awesome dishes, extremely healthy dishes all the time, all day. So let me show you how this works in practice. Okay, here you are at the grocery store. We're at Whole Foods. We pull out the app. And you got your diet. That's great, but you don't want that at the grocery store. What you want is your grocery list. So here it is in front of you. You walk around the store. Notice everything is generic. There are no products in here specifically. But that allows us to do something really cool. So now we can talk to the grocery stores themselves about putting coupons in front of people. We can talk to product manufacturers about putting product advertisements that are going to direct the consumer to buy that product that is on their grocery list, which is targeted advertising, which is some of the largest margin advertising you're going to get. We can work with a lot of the national chains, obviously, and we can also work with a growing industry known as grocery delivery, which is $18 billion expected industry in 2017. You got Amazon, you got Google in there now, so we want to work with these guys as they start to grow their businesses. We can hand through our API that grocery list directly to them, and they can tailor whatever products they want the person to buy right into their online shopping. Another use case, you're at home, you don't want to cook the dinner that MyFuelUp has suggested, so you say, all right, give me an alternative. So we're going to find all the restaurants that are near you. In this example, I guess we're in Marina Del Rey. We're looking at restaurants that are nearby. Right now, we can only get major chains that we have nutritional access to, but In-N-Out Burger, Yard House, don't want you guys going there too often, but let's say you have to. Okay, so you're there, you're at Yard House. We give you an option on their menu that will keep you close to your plan, whether it be by macronutrients or by at least caloric breakdown, okay? And we can work with 500 plus national chains just by virtue of the API we're initially collecting to, and over 100,000 menu items. We would love to get mom and pop shops on board as we grow and scale the business. Okay, we can make that very easy through a database infrastructure. Our initial target segment here, we know the early adopters are going to be singles, power couples, dual income, no kids. This is just by virtue of how it works, but it's a pretty big market. Okay, 45 to 77 million just in the US. Not to mention this is globally applicable immediately in most countries, especially European countries. Promotion channels, okay, we are going to go for SEO. That's why we're at CES. We want to promote to all of you guys. But another really important promotion channel for us is physical trainers. We talked about, I think Fitnet mentioned 250,000 in the US. Each one has 45 to 90 clients on average. They're the people that are incentivized, that want this stuff, and they're going to use it. So we want to go to them first, get their clients using it, know that their clients are being successful when they can't be with them, and then those clients, when they see the success, are going to tell their friends. And that's how we get the word out. That's how the word of mouth starts. So insurance providers, corporate wellness programs are also used. We got a Fortune 500 company that's already interested in putting this in front of their employees. And obviously, insurance providers love stuff like this. Get their people organized, get them eating healthy. So that's how we get it out there. Competitive landscape, honestly, there's really not much in this space of free. Customize. Customize means making a plan. You can see all the Spark people, FitnessPal, they're free, but they're extremely generic. They're not giving you that useful information that we are. Now, you'll see all the wearable devices down there, and they're very costly. I still consider them to be generic because in the absence of the plan, they give you nothing. So if we put wearable devices together with nutrition plan, amazing what we can do. We can make them relevant to people, and I think we could sell a lot of wearable devices because people now have information that they can now go and use that wearable information to adjust their plans, okay? So that's why, and you know, that I don't like to talk about exit strategies because, you know, I'm the founder, I want this thing to grow, I want to build it into a business, but, you know, I think that if we're able to achieve this, there'll be some companies that have interest in wearable devices that will probably want to acquire us. So the team, I'm the founder, dual degrees from MIT, MBA. I was able to recruit a team slowly to do this, starting with a web architect, and eventually got a certified nutritionist involved, certified dietitian and trainer, and some other folks. We have a chef, our executive chef, who started to populate our database with recipes, and you know, we're starting to slowly grow. When we talk about how we're going to grow the business, so this year, our target is to get up to 100,000 users or more. And you know, our revenues, early revenue is going to be driven by the premium app sales, which, you know, the premium app I could tell you guys about, but the restaurant search will be a premium feature. It's only $2.99 a year, so we're not breaking the bank, but at least it lets us make some revenue as we scale. But really, we want to get to that advertising model. So by 2015 or 2016, we're hoping for 1 million users following that MyFitnessPal growth path, that hockey stick effect, if you will, which is essentially what they did. And that's where we'll get into food sponsorship revenues of $2 per user. And we could grow that potentially by $17 to $6 per user, which is in line with what Facebook is doing. And now we're talking about a really successful company. So with that, any questions, guys?
I have a huge question, sorry. So I got very excited when I saw P.F. Chang's and Cheesecake Factory. But how is your nutritionist, like if I were to go to Cheesecake Factory and say I wanted chicken and biscuits, okay? It's very good there. How are they going to tell me, like a peeled boiled potato? Because I saw like on the last one a cup of quinoa, where a lot of restaurants don't break it down like that. Right. So how am I still going to be able to use this and eat healthy when I'm out at a P.F. Chang's or?
Yeah.
Do you want to?
We are in the infancy of that restaurant piece. So right now, what we have access to is an API that provides basic information: protein, carbs, fat, sodium, potassium. So we can only use that data to make the best decision, algorithmically, to tell the person, here's a meal or an item that matches closely the macros you're supposed to have in the meal. So we're just scratching the surface. When we get these restaurants to really start to work with us, which takes users, now we're going to be able to enhance those algorithms and start to think about other things. Because I think your mind is thinking about, okay, what is the quality of the item?
Yeah, what are your clients actually going to get when they order something and it comes back with a piece of broccoli that's raw?
Yeah, so at this point, we're trying to hit their macros. If we can't, we at least hit their caloric intake. So if they go to the store or to the restaurant, even if they're having a piece of cheesecake, it's the amount of calories that they were supposed to have anyway. So at least that deviation is not completely throwing them off the plan. But I agree, there's a lot of opportunity to do a lot more with it, but we got to scale to get those people to cooperate and put the right data in front of us.
I was skeptical at first before you did your presentation, but what struck me was the food delivery and the ability for you then to earn some revenue from that. Talk a little bit more about that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's really where the success of this app will be, because we don't want to charge. This is about addressing a $3 trillion problem in this country, which is, you know, I think a $500 billion out of that. That's our healthcare spend. $500 billion of it could probably be removed just by getting people to eat healthier. And if we're charging people for that information that they critically need, because nutrition is not rocket science, but it is slightly complex to create a plan, to take the time to do that, and also to take time out of your busy schedule to really learn what you need to know. So that's the problem people have. So by doing that model, we're able to get this great information in front of a whole crap ton of people. excuse my French. So that's why it's so important. And you know, as these companies, you know, try to start grocery delivery services, I mean, somebody's got to take advantage of it. I don't see anybody doing it. We're going to take advantage of that, no doubt.
Are you live? Have you launched?
We launched last week, so we're very, very immature, but we were trying to get the product right, at least, you know, a really good product out there when we did launch. So I chose that model as opposed to launching a kind of crappy product and growing it slowly. So this is the model we chose. We just launched, and it's live. You all should be downloading it now because it's free. And check that out, all right?
If you had to describe your target user, who would it be?
Right now, again, it's the singles and the dinks, which is the dual income, no kids. And the reason for this is because if you got kids, you got other things on your mind. You're going to have to append your grocery list to account for them. So there are some features we want to add over the next year that will help those folks find more benefit out of this. But for somebody that's single, that has the ability to make a plan and stick to it reliably, that's the kind of the perfect person, or maybe a couple, because we're going to very quickly add a feature where maybe your spouse could come in and say, hey, I'm making my diet under my husband, and we're going to eat these meals together, so the algorithms will, you know, try to select the right quantities, but the correct items so that they're eating together and shopping together. So that's our target.
I think just a piece of advice. Childhood obesity is so huge in this nation, and I think that this could be a really beneficial tool for mothers and fathers to actually set their kids on the right path nutrition-wise. I think that's the biggest piece of advice for me, because I don't think that anything really is on the market right now for cooking healthy meals for kids that could possibly have weight issues. That's a comment.
Yeah. It seems like your algorithm is dependent upon the data that a user inputs when they first sign up on a profile. And it seems like you're asking for a lot of information in order for your algorithm to work. How do you incentivize someone to do that? If I'm your target market, you know, dual income, no kids, I'm not going to sit there for a half hour, 2 hours inputting all this information. So how do you incentivize me to actually give you the information that you need?
You haven't downloaded the app yet. It only takes 2 minutes. It doesn't take that long. But no, I mean, the only piece of information I think is a little tough is the body type, selecting your body type, because some people don't know I'm a mesomorph, I'm an endomorph, but we give them information to help them make that selection. But I mean, the other questions are fairly simple. Do you shop organic? Do you desire to shop organic? Do you want to save money? You know, what are you allergic to? And then if we can get the coaches to work with their clients, a client could sit down with their coach and theoretically make the diet together. The thing with coaches is most of them don't have the certifications to do this. So that's why they love this tool, because now they have something that they can say hands off, here's a diet you can go create. But now they can sit with the client, help them, you know, explain to them what each question is asking so that they can walk them through it. And then they make the diet, and then the trainer could suggest things, but they don't necessarily have to be handing them the plan, which is illegal in many cases. So that's the vision anyway.
Any more comments?
Mouth of hope.
Any more questions?
One more. Basic. So the basic app is free. What does the $2.99 is the other app, and what questions go along with that? What do you get with the advanced?
Sure. So the premium app right now, the restaurant search feature is considered premium. So you get a 2-week free trial. You'll be able to use everything for 2 weeks, and then it'll expire after that, and you'd have to, you know, upgrade. But you'll get the restaurant search. You also get a Fuel My Cardio mode. So cardio is not considered in these diets, right? We consider resistance training. So if you're going to go do a bike ride for 55 minutes, Fuel My Cardio will tell you based on your body how many calories we expect you're going to burn. Obviously, you can verify that and validate it with a wearable, but we're going to give you that information proactively so you know how much gel or energy, you know, bars you need to bring with you on that ride. I used it to do a 75-mile bike ride 2 weeks ago and had very good success with it. Another thing we give you is the tracking capability. So tracking, you don't have to log everything you ate anymore. Now all you have to do is say, yes, I followed the plan, or I didn't for each meal. It takes about 30 seconds a day. And then by the end of the month, you have a nice trend graph that shows, okay, how did I adhere to my diet versus how did my weight change? And now you have some actionable data to do something with.
I've got a comment, which is, we're always looking for a hook on our side of the house. You know, the reason why food tracking and logging works, as unglorious as it actually is and how laborious it is because people are usually have raised their hand and they've started a journey of weight loss, right? And when you're highly motivated and you've kind of flipped into that, you're willing to kind of do that. So that's why you see apps like Lose It, MyFitnessPal, et cetera, kind of with the sheer numbers on their side and tremendous growth. Another area that's really seeing a lot of growth is food delivery, the shopping kind of experiences and all that. Why is that? Because the hook is about convenience, right? And time saving, and people are willing to kind of endeavor on that. grocery lists, recipes. This is stuff that's kind of in the middle and a little bit fuzzy. There's plenty of individual apps out there, but they haven't taken off. You're trying to stitch across a lot of these things. Given the fact that you just launched a week ago, I think, just listen to the data, see what your users are coming for. I really am predicting that you're going to pivot and move around quite a bit in this until you find what the ultimate hook on this is. There's a lot of power and a lot of good in what you're trying to enable, but sometimes it's too much, and until you find that entry path to kind of user acquisition and penetration, just
you're right. We're definitely starting an integrator role, and I think things will become more clear as we launch where we need to focus most of our energy. But we are hoping that we can embrace being an integrator because nobody's put it together properly yet.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. So, Barracudas, you want to do a little chatting over there, and you can come up with what you think, what you want to say about each app, just one word, 2 words maybe, okay, for each app. And Chelsea, you want to come and talk to everybody about the final question that we're going to do for the Pulse? And then we'll wrap this up. And by the way, everybody, the bar is open.
So before you hit the open bar, I took a look at your voting. Thank you all so much for participating. It looked like women were most into Fitnet and men were most excited about MyFuelUp. And it seemed like from the Pulse voting that MyFuelUp might have been the winner, but since now you've had a chance to hear from everybody, we'll let you guys vote and see if you agree with what the Barracudas have to say. So let us know. We've pushed one last question. If you had an infinite amount of money, which app would you invest in?
What do you, so you want 1 or 2 words per each person to describe?
I would like, thank you. Wait, okay, so if I was to say to you, describe for me Fitnet. 2 words that were descriptive, that would either describe that you liked it or you disliked it, that you would invest in it or not invest in it.
Okay, so give us 2 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
2 seconds. Can I get a drink?
Yeah.
Julian, are you asking each of us
we
to
all
do it
need a drink.
individually or as a group?
Individually.
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 Okay.
All right?
All right.
Shoot.
Fitnet. Michael?
Potential, work in progress.
Keoni?
Exists.
Denise?
I have 4 words. Need stronger competitive moat.
Ted?
Need partnerships.
Excellent. VERT? Ted?
Very cool.
Denise?
Compelling niche.
Keoni?
Under Armour. I think, honestly...
No, Michael.
I'll explain it later.
More attributes to measure.
Cool. MyFuelUp. Keoni?
Great idea.
Denise?
Need to focus.
Michael?
Too broad.
Ted?
Limited potential.
Thank you. Chelsea, do we have a result? There you go. MyFuelUp's the audience favorite. Thank you very much to our Barracudas. I'd like to thank our sponsors, and thank you, all of you, for sticking around all day. I appreciate it. We will see you in 2016.